In the bottom right, in the red for Team Envy, it's Crater. In the upper left, in the blue, give it up, it's Reynor. Alrighty, Rudy, what do we got here in the first game of this series? Crater, he showed variance in styles. He went for Glaive Adepts that got ludicrous amounts of damage because Crater, I correctly identified the Scarlet was being insanely greedy. We saw tons of Oracles, actually. 2 Oracles that got a little damage early and a massively delayed natural into a Scarlet's attempted all-in. That didn't really work out all that well. I mean, she almost broke through and didn't. And then, of course, a fantastic late game. A fantastic late game that Crater almost got. So really, a bunch of different builds from Crater. It's good to see the build variability. Tons of build variability in this series. And Reynor, though, we have not seen a lot of his ZVP as of late. I mean, I think, and I've talked to him and he said, no, Bayo, this was just because I was playing poorly, but his series versus Hero in the WTL was god tier. It was so good. And yes, it was a series that Hero won, but it was extremely high level. Ash Crater now blocking the natural just a little bit. But Reynor, he's not doing the greedy thing. He's not saying, I need to cut corners. I need to make sure I get that extra drone early. No, it will be four lings. He will force the probe out of there, which means Reynor can get that 30 supply third hatch and be pretty happy with how the game is going. He's, of course, the first Adept finding his way on the other side, but it's only a single one. Stalker behind this one and a Twilight as well. So is this Glaives? Cosmic Sapphire's rush distance is short enough that maybe that's going to be worthwhile, but well, the Robo's a little bit delayed, so we're gonna have to see what exactly Crater has in store for us. As Adept now into the main, and okay, there we go, just quick blink. So this is a variant of the build that Hero likes to go for that takes a very quick blink. It means blink is done before 6 minutes, but by doing so, you delay your forge. You delay your forge by quite a bit, which is fine. It means that you just have a lot more aggressive options on the map, which always, well, if you're just trying to keep the Zerg back, that actually it provides a lot of utility on the map. But as I say that, I got a Robo on the way as well. Normally, Crater, when going for these builds, he does not get a quick Robo. He drops a pylon on the map. He goes and drops a pylon in a gateway, puts a lot of pressure from there, just cuts every corner to make sure that first rush of Stalkers is just so powerful. So instead, Crater going for this, he's showing us something a little bit different. 3 more gateways on the way for a grand total of 4. Probably going to go up to 6. This is just, there we go. There we go, 5 gateways on the way, coupled with one that already has. This is just a 6-gate blink all in game number 1. And if you are Reynor and you're sitting here in this situation where you're thinking, okay, well, you know what, there is just, there's a way that Protoss play with Blink Stalkers. It works out pretty well. What did that even mean? I don't know. If you're saturating yourself for that 6-7 minute timing, you're maybe going to get caught off guard by this timing of Crater. But of course, there is no third base. That's the first tell that Crater will see. His Lings out on front, they're not really going to get all that much. And this Overlord, what does it seem? It's really, I just saw the quick Twilight, but that it tells them that maybe there's something, but really not that much. So we're seeing Spores go down. That's just money that really Reynor does not want to spend. He's got some Roaches on the way now, but Roaches against Blink Stalkers are really not the best, and Blink is done. Well, right about right now, 3, 2, 1, it will complete as the War Prism finds its way onto the other side of the map. We got a couple Lings. 26 Lings, Roaches are on the way. Crater is going to have to buffer for a little bit, right? His army supply is not super impressive. He needs another couple Warpins, and he needs to start trading rather heavily. He's not supply, well, actually, no, he's fine. So now the Stalkers are going to run forward, and look what Crater's doing here. He says, don't worry about it. It's just 3 Stalkers, just a little bit of gateway pressure, but showing that blink is really all that Reynor needs to see to make sure that he knows exactly what's happening. He's seen, of course, the lack of the third base as well. And these blink all-ins, I don't know. I really like the hero style. That seems really good. But these blink all-ins off 6 gateways that really rely on, it's a 2-base push, never really seem to be all that effective. It just doesn't feel like the Protoss can ever find their way in. Now Reynor says, okay, well, yeah, your army's on the other side of the map. You're trying to break me. That's fine. You're going to put Lings into your natural. We're going to have to see. There we go. Pylon's going to go down, so that's fine. Stalkers taking a decent trade here to start. Roaches are starting to fall. Good transfuses on the Queens as more Stalkers continue to warp in. Supply's starting to get a little bit closer, but decent damage on the Stalkers right now. So the blinks from Crater have not yet been perfect. Now the Stalkers will run forward. One Queen getting rather low. Crater not target firing it down though. Lings again, they run forward. And the whole point of the Lings, yeah, they fight the Stalkers really nicely, but they are to buffer for the Roaches as well. They just force the Stalkers to not do the damage to those units that are actually so good against them. Stalkers now blinking back, but again, the supply is starting to get a little bit closer. But as we say that, of course, Warpin was forced at home. 6 drones, 6 probes have died as the Ling run by finds its way into the main base, and this will get dealt with eventually. But Stalkers at home, the Zealots at home, this is not what Crater wants. He wants to be able to bring his army together in full force. So the Stalkers now, they're going to find a Queen. That's nice assassination. We're going to get a Roach Ravager, maybe. No, just a Roach. And 9 drones, 9 probes have died. Looks like Crater eventually is going to be able to keep this alive as he lost. Oh, wait, that's why he's building Zealots. Yeah, he lost his Cyber Core. So as interesting as this push might be, and the Stalkers are doing better and better, Crater just doesn't have, he can't build any more Stalkers. He has to build Zealots, and Zealots without charge are really not good units. Yeah, they can deal with the Zerglings a little bit, but any Zealots that are made are really doomed to die here. So the Zealots run forward looking to buffer for things, but the Biles zone everything out. And now Reynor moving forward, trying to find his way off creep. Not really going to be able to do that one. Ling's on the right side trying to deal with these Stalkers. Zealots are actually taking a decent trade. And now, of course, Stalker count can start to grow once again. The Cyber Core is complete here. And the Crater, he runs forward. Biles don't really land. More and more Roaches are starting to fall. He's got a big concave, and that's really all you need here as the Stalkers. Second lines, third lines, Stalkers don't really matter nearly as much as another Ravager will fall. And we do see the Spore burrow forward, knocking that Observer down, at least make it harder for it to show forward. Another Queen will fall. Good transfuses on the other one. But now most of these Ling run-bys, they have been dealt with. It's a full wall from Reynor, or from Crater right now. He really doesn't have to worry about the run-by anymore. Now Stalker will go down. Second one fall, or Ravager, excuse me, will fall. Second one as well. Lair on the way for Reynor, but Crater's starting to really trade effectively. Army supplies are starting to equalize even more. Queens now get target fire down. 1 goes down, 2 goes down. Blinking back in clumps Crater is, but the Zealots, they run forward, looking to buffer here once again. Crater, it really is starting to feel like he's starting to find the value that he needs with more and more Warpins. Actually, I like this. Adding in a couple additional, oh no, those are defensive adepts. Ling run by not really getting all that much done. Forces a Warpin at home, sure, but this push at the front is so damn scary from Crater right now. More Biles, they're not going to land, but they are keeping Crater back right now, giving Reynor a little bit more time, but every time Crater runs forward, he snipes the Ravager. Those are expensive, 100 gas each. Reynor's okay losing Roaches. He's okay losing Lings. He's okay maybe losing Queens, but not as much. Losing these Ravagers, though, that's really the big problem. But we're starting at this point, 8 minutes into the game, as we will see that Spore go down, where we have to consider the economy. Crater's only on 32 probes. He really is starting to mine out of that main base and the natural. But so too is Reynor. We have to imagine the Stalker's getting still yet better trades. And again, Crater only has 7 mineral patches in the main base. Really not building much of the natural. Stalkers again run forward. More pylons because Crater, he's starting to edge up above 120 supply. And now he sits here. He's up on army supply. So many Zealots warping in because Crater has really realized. First of all, I guess he doesn't have the gas mine to really build Stalkers continuously, but more importantly, the Stalker count that he has is enough. Right? More than that, he really just cannot find value from them. They just do not have the range to shoot over their brethren. But as he runs back, there's some perspective links around having these Stalkers or having the Zealots is actually going to be rather nice indeed. And Crater again, equal on army supply, running forward here. As Ling is run forward. What point does he bring the Zealots forward? What point does he really commit to this timing? Or does he think he has what he needs? It looks like, Crater runs forward again. Repositions the Zealots just slightly, keeping himself safe from flank. More and more Roaches continue to go down. Now Crater, he's not blinking wholesale anymore. It's single Stalkers. He really started to take the fight. Now, this is when he commits with the Zealots. This is when he thinks he's comfortable. Ling flank on the backside, not gonna be up in the Stalkers. They blink forward. Crater, he sandbagged this push for so damn long, but he feels confident. He thinks he can make it happen. Lings, though, they get by the buffer of the Zealots. Even still, Crater now at 20 army supply lead. Reynor falls down and is long as hell all in. Crater, he takes game 1. Spotted bottom left now in the red. Up 1-0 for a date with either Dark or Beyond in the finals. It's Crater. In the upper right, down or 1. He is for Kaizi Gaming. the former world champion, the Italian stallion. It's Reynor. Waterfall is a much shorter map. It is a map that really, even more importantly than being a shorter map, it is a map that is, in terms of dimensions, it is the smallest map we've had since, oh, what was it? Jungle something? Yeah, anyway, it's the longest, it's the smallest map we've had in the pool in like 10 years. But the most important thing about it, of course, is it is rather limited base count, and it is so hard to get a 5th base. It is incredibly hard to get a 5th base. In fact, that's how we've seen a laser. We've seen actually a lot of a laser PVZ on this map, or ZVP on this map, and he does well until, again, it's time to get that 5th base, and suddenly Blink Stalker Aggression says no, no, no. So that, I mean, that build from Crater, he was so patient with it. It was a 2-base all-in. Reynor got a great run by. That often kneecaps it. When these all-ins happen like this, you force warp-ins at home, you knock down a bunch of workers, and suddenly the Protoss just cannot really make it happen. But Crater was so patient on how he just sat at the edge of creep. Got a queen, got a Ravager, blink back. Got a queen, got a Ravager, blink back. To the point where Reynor was never able to was never able to snowball the hold. But for now, Twilight going down. Once again, similar timing from Crater in this game. And honestly, if he goes for a similar all-in with blink timing, I don't know how I feel about it. Because on the one hand, it's like, well, great. You know, it worked for you game number 1. But game 2, of course, is, it's a much shorter map. And fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But maybe Crater knows something. I mean, Reynor's been in Korea for like 72 hours. Hasn't had a lot of time to practice, but he's been practicing some, and maybe rumors have percolated about maybe what Reynor is weak to, and it will be up. Well, okay, this makes more sense. I talked about it in the last series about how, well, Waterfall is just a Glaives map. Funding Waterfall is it's a Glaives map. Much like Inside and Out, the rush distance is so short, and it's actually the circulation between the net and the 3rd base and the main is so long with the low ground, high ground, low ground setup that, well, it becomes rather difficult for Zergs to deal with. But I feel like one of the things, I mean, he's not Cyril, but one of the things that is certainly a hallmark of Reynor's play is his ability to figure out what's happening. So there we go. Ro4 on the way at 350. He's not going to fall victim to, I'm going to be greedy and skip my Ro4 until forever that Scarlet was. So at the very least, it's a start. The start is good. At the very least, the start is good here for Reynor. But as we've seen before, it feels like more and more we're seeing glaive pushes actually get the damage they want, which is kind of fun because for a while we were it's like, okay, glaives into, well, the Protoss has a map to give, they're going to do it for it because maybe they make the Zerg play a little safer, and then it doesn't really work out all that well. And she's like, okay, well, I'm sacrificing a map for the series planning. Now Lings are going to look to try to get on these Adepts. Glaives done in 2-1, so now the Lings do not want to take this fight. Not like that. Is now Adepts, they shade forward. Crater's going to look to get a Queen, but Reynor has saved up enough energy right now that Queens are going to be able to stay alive for the most part. And I really think that the big time we're looking for from Crater is, yeah, it's warp in 4 more Adepts. So it's when he gets up to 12, that's when you can, it's like 2 3-shot Queens. That's when you go and, well, maybe something make happen a little bit more. So they're going to find their way into the 4th base. Queens get transfused, but 1 Queen will fall at the cost of a single Adept. 2nd Queen going to go down. And of course, as this snowballs, getting these Queens is almost as important as getting drones. Meanwhile, it looks like the 3rd base has been canceled here for Crater. 2 probes have gone down. Lings for the surround. Adepts, though, they're going to warp in the main base. 2 Queens, 3 Queens have died. Most of the Adepts, they will go down. Into the natural, they will go. A couple more drones are dying. Crater fomenting chaos as into the main base as well. 3 Adepts here. Couple drones are starting to go down. Now, it's not the 16 that Scarlet died to, but even still, this is 8 workers going down. It's going to be 9. And now the Adepts, they're going to have to shade into... No, they cancel the shade. It looks like they will finally go down, but more Adepts warping in. Reynor giving up on the situation, but no, he sees that now. Warp Prism, well, it's only 4 Adepts, so you can pick up. You can drop elsewhere, and Adepts in the third base. That's a enterprising situation, but with the Queens here, Warp Prism says, I gotta back up. So at the end of things, where do we stand? 22 Lings, 3 Queens, 9 drones for the cost of 15 Adepts. More expensive there, of course, for Creator, and Reynor already droning up behind this. I don't think this got enough for a Creator. It's enough to maybe justify him staying in the game and not dying. So, well, you know, it's always the second round as Adepts warp in. They get a little bit more. They get a Queen, but no, not quite enough. High Energy Queen, though. Half damage. But okay, there we go. Forge now on the way. No additional tech coming out of Creator right now. No Blink, no Charge, no Robo Bay. Because he just needs to make sure he stays alive. Waterfall is good for Glaives because it's quick rush distance. You get across rather quickly. Good circulation between the main and third. Or a good way to punish the circulation. Not great circulation for the Zerg. But on the flip side, while it's not the shortest rush distance in the pool, it is, of course, it's 2 seconds shorter than Inside Now. Or 2 seconds shorter than Moondance, excuse me. It's 33 seconds. It's still rather short. And because of how small it is, you can get creep across the map rather quickly indeed. But Creator's army, with 2 Immortals here, a couple sentries, he's got some scary pressure going on now. +1 melee on the way. That's not going to help Reynor right now. A couple sentries for some decent force fields. Ravagers are getting morphed, and actually really good force fields to start. A couple Roaches will go down. Queen as well, the low Queen from earlier. And now good split here coming in from Creator. The army supply, again, continues to grow for Reynor, but it feels like he was kind of caught on his heels just a little bit. Now the Immortals run forward. Biles will land. Good micro there from Creator. Second Biles not really landing, as now drones are going to get pulled. Creator, he's in a bit of trouble right now, but with no Adepts, can't really fight the Lings all that well. So again, Creator equalizes the army supply, runs forward. He's got a bunch of probes on the third base right now. 60 probes is enough to mine, certainly, and more Adepts, they warp in. So the army supplies, again, they continue to stay equal. Creator now wedging himself between the natural and the third base. Lings, they got to be so careful about how they engage here. So actually, they don't have to worry about it anymore because the Adepts into the main and the natural. Roaches not really there to defend because they got to be so careful about this push in the third base. Now they're going to react, but so much damage starting to get done. 10 drones are going to go down. Creator looking really on top of things this evening. 11 workers, 12 workers will fall. And all of a sudden here, this game that did not look all that great from Creator to start getting the Queens was nice, but really not enough workers going down. This is a game where Creator, his blink is just about done. +1, yeah, sure, that's a wise off, but that's fine. He has his third base. He's got blink just about done. He's going to have these stalkers that make it really hard for Reynor to get truly aggressive. With the Immortal drops as well, just really delaying this push. He's going to be able to get a couple Immortals. Creator. Okay, he's going to be fine. Blink's looking for him. And actually, something Zombie Grub was talking about a little bit earlier is Immortals. You got to have a little more separation than that one. Creator while this map, the rush distance is so short, because there's no forward-facing ramp, instead it's on the sides, it actually is a spot that's rather easy or rather difficult to attack into despite the rush distance. So Reynor, he is going to shark around on the map. He has to at least represent threat. He does have to force his opponent to maybe be a little bit less greedy. But even still, the Immortals here, they're going to show up, and Warp Prism has to be careful. But Queen, actually, that was a snipeable Queen. Creator with a little bit of mistargeting. Reynor now up on 81 workers, though, because in the midst of all that pressure, he was able to establish a fourth base. But here's my question for you folks. As a second Robo gets dropped down, a Robo Bay as well. Is this for Disruptors, which I very much expected in that Scarlet series? He ended up building Colossus instead, or will it be that Colossus tech? Now, Reynor has shown less of a penchant for these just Ling Bane heavy styles. Nice job there catching down the Overlord. Or will it this? Yeah, well, okay, so Reynor has seen less of a penchant for the Ling heavy style, which makes Colossus more powerful, but no, it will be. Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay. Colossus briefly, but really Disruptors are going to be the name of the game for Creator. He does take his fourth base charge on the way. +1, just about done. And this Blinkstalker army is a little spooky. Creator can't go too far forward on the creep. Stalkers run forward. They're going to get a Roach. Okay, I mean, I feel like Roaches against this composition are... Oh, it's so spooky. It's so spooky. Stalkers, of course, especially with +1, they do so much bonus damage to just the armored attack that Roaches have that it becomes hard. There's a lot of army here from Reynor on the right side. The entire army of Crater on the left, or on the wow, a lot of army from Crater on the left side, army from Reynor on the left, army from Crater on the right. Disruptor shot gonna have to go out here. Good force fields to start. Disruptor shot really does not land all that well. So Crater, he actually thinks he can hold this with just his disruptors. I don't know if he can or not. That's a big shot though. Banelings come crashing on forward. Nothing to really deal with them just yet, but into the natural, they will be able to retreat. The Lings and Roaches, they're going to try to break this third base. Banelings come rolling on through because the wall is just not there. Splits from Crater are going to be decent, but there's just so many probes, so damn hard to split. 14, 18 probes will go down, make it 19. The third base, or excuse me, the fourth base will go down as well. Reynor, he takes the situation where Crater was just woefully out of position. All of his Blink Stalkers on the right side, just not enough defensively on the left. He gets a fantastic trade, but now Crater, he says, I got enough here. Blinks forward, Ravagers will fall. Crater up 20 army supply. And Reynor now, he's got a tough hold ahead of him. He got enough economic damage. He shut Crater back down onto 3 bases. He killed 18 probes. Crater only on 49, but the Stalkers blink forward, knocking down so many of these Banelings, but there are not a lot of disruptors here. We're only looking at 2 on the field. Immortals yet to join the fray. Banelings come crashing on forward. And honestly, in the game state the Reynor's in right now, he can afford these inefficient trades because the Stalkers continue to fall. They continue to get low. Second round of Roaches come rolling in. More Banelings as well. These Stalkers are so low. Banelings not good against them, sure, but it does not matter because they get full center of mass connections. More Stalkers, they warp in. More DTs as well defensively. With no detection here, this is starting to get a little bit spookier for Reynor. A lot of his supply in production right now, but the Disruptor shots not really getting what they need. Another Roach will fall, and Crater is starting to poke forward just a little bit, but now all the tech is dead. The Disruptors are dead, and Reynor onto the other side of the map. +1 on both his ranged and his melee units. Gonna be able to start to knock away, knocking away at the Stalkers. So yeah, +2 is gonna be done in just a second, but +2 for Reynor as well. He's got his hive. He can move into Vipers soon enough, and that spooky situation for Crater where it looked like he might break through is not quite enough. So Reynor now, he's on his 5 bases on only 77 drones. He's mitigating that one just a little bit as these Banelings will get found out. But they're +2 Banes. You just need one of them to survive into a mineral line, and it is a problem as Roach is on this round here. Really, Crater's doing what he can to make this blink happen, but it just really is not working out for him all that well. As Banelings run to the mineral line, yet more probes die. Reynor hauls it back. And we're going to game 3. In the middle upper right in the red, he took the first one and fell just barely in the second. For Team NV, it's Crater. In the bottom left in the red, folks, put your hands together, it's Reynor. And I don't know why the intros sometimes hang and sometimes don't, but it was a sad boy regardless. So where do we go in this game 3? We saw Crater, he went for the obvious Glaives build. Didn't really work until he kind of went for round 2 with Mortals and Glaives everywhere, and it got enough. It certainly equalized the game, put himself back into it, and then he was able to take 4 bases, but didn't really position very well. His Stalkers were on the low ground, didn't really defend the 4th. He took a lot of damage in the 3rd. It was a problem. And from there, it was a game that Crater was really having to try to fight his way back into. We've yet to see a true macro game for these players. This game 1 as well was a 2-base, 6-gate, 7-gate Blink Stalker all in, which, hey, look, great. It was fantastic micro there from Crater, fantastic patience from Crater, but that does not exactly constitute a macro game. We're not seeing the hero style, the Estrella style, something like that. I mean, these dominant macro heavy styles from the Protoss players at the moment. And also, we haven't seen anything too weird from Estrella. Not from Estrella. Estrella's not playing this game. From Reynor thus far, but really, Zergs for the longest time, unless they're going for some sort of all-in, which we really don't see all that often. Doesn't really feel like Zerg all-ins for the most part are super useful. I mean, yeah, you can go for a Queen Walk, but that was old meta, and I'm so glad it's gone. But generally, Zerg is, they want to play defensively. They want to play reactively. They want to make sure that they can just sit there and drone as maximum as possible, have the perfect unit counter, and take the game into the mid game and just really start to outgrow their opponents. So for now, Adept shades forward, but there's a Queen on the high ground. You can see the links as well. So not really looking for all that much, but this is going to be the game that Creator has opted to go for a Stargate opener. Now, does he go into Charge and Archons behind this? Does he go into Blink Stalkers +1, or even the rare 1/1 Double Forge opening? I don't know. Got a bunch of different opportunities for him as the hero build or the hero opener. It has a ton of different branches. Goes all over the place. All right, so Adepts find their way into the mineral line, or into the natural here, but there are Lings there. So Reynor's going to be able to shut that down. No more scouting, no more potential damage from these Adepts. And, well, I mean, it's 2 Adepts. But what it does mean is losing those 2 Adepts, it's going to be a little bit harder now for Creator to be able to take his 3rd base. But Oracle diving in the main base. There's no Spore here. Drones are going to have to get pulled. How many workers does he get? Queen is kind of sitting on top of this to make it a little bit hard. And Target Fire, not really the best. Creator's really messing this up. He's still going to get 4 or 5 drones, but he will... Thought he was going to lose that Oracle as the Spore popped, but not quite. He got 5 workers, but really he probably should have gotten 7 or 8. And again, the Lings denying this 3rd base. It's 4:30, and Creator does not have his 3rd base up just now. That does not feel good. Last time we saw Creator do this, again, the delayed 3rd, the Void Ray, it was because he had delayed Scarlet's Natural tremendously. Getting the pylon dropping and then in that position just says, yeah, hey, look, Scarlet, you don't get to take your 3rd. And then, of course, Void Ray, Master Oracle was able to make the hold happen. Reynor is in a game state where, yeah, he lost 5 drones, but 5 drones is not the end of the world, not really. And the Creator's macro is just going to be pretty heavily behind. Do we have a Twilight down? We do not. So, okay, just Robo on the way behind this. No Twilight. Interesting as Oracles fly in right now, but there's a Spore, and these Oracles are very low. 1 Oracle will fall. Creator just a little sloppy on his Oracle control. We saw that when he had really a big opportunity to put himself in a wonderful position in the early game and only got 5 drones, which it's non-zero, but again, we do want to see more. So 1 Oracle does fall. A 3rd one on the way, because you do want at least 2 to make sure you have stasis traps. You do have that defensive option, that aggressive option. But behind this, I think we're just seeing a mass gate. We're just seeing a mass gateway robo timing coming out of Creator right now, which is weird. This is not something we see all that often. As a Void Ray is now going to take some hull damage, but not really all that much. And the Adepts on the bottom side looking for a little bit of harassment, but the 5 gateways on the way. Immortals are getting chronoed out. This is just a 3-gate Immortal gateway timing. This is what is this? This is Heart of the Swarm once again, or is this? This is a super anachronistic build. A different way to get into it, of course. But a pretty cool idea, because Reynor is going to be assuming right now that Creator is powering up. Is getting himself into Blink, into his upgrades, and really he's going to be safe for about another minute. That is not what's happening. There is no Twilight in this game. And Reynor looks like he has Swarm Host on the mind, actually. Or at least, very least, a quick eye, but again, most likely Swarm Host play. As we have seen him do that just a little bit, and he seems to think that this is a fairly decent... Wait, did we just see the state? Oh, great dodge there on the stasis. He seems to think that this is a fairly good map for it, at least from what I've seen thus far, as more and more queens are on the way, looking to just be able to defend things. But the army of Creator is arriving right now. Reynor's, his pants are so down. It's 51 supply to army supply to 24. Reynor had no idea that this was happening, as well. It's a free entry into the 3rd base of Reynor right now. Drones are going to have to get pulled. This is a free base. That is the minimum that Creator is going to be able to get with this one, is more and more in-depth Zealot Stalkers. Everything warps in. Reynor's going to find himself pretty heavily supply blocked. So many of these Overlords are just going to go down. Not enough anti-air for anything. And Creator, I don't even know that he feels the need to kill it. He's going to kill it. Okay, that's fine. But really, it doesn't really need to, but it will supply block Reynor right now. So Reynor now, he's on 3 bases. He was able to get a couple roaches, a couple lings out of that stasis trap. Really not going to do all that much for him. As this army, he's got to be careful here for Reynor, or for Creator. You do not want to get sandwiched here, as now we're going to see 1 Ravager go down, but the target fire kind of lacking, as he's really fighting the army on the right side. 2nd level of force fields, though, going to be a lot better Queen's now running out of energy, running out of health here. The concave from Crater is pretty damn fantastic. Queen's now starting to fall down a little bit lower. Void Rays on the left side. There's just no Queens here. There's no anti-air, so it's just getting so much done. Warp Prism sitting really far back, so we're not going to see any Biles. No Queens knocking this one down. Crater running forward, and the supply block coupled with Reynor just really not expecting this. We're really starting to see such a problem as the production for Reynor. It's just not there anymore. Queens continue to fall. Third base, or I guess fourth base of Reynor now going to get knocked down here. The Void Ray still getting so much done. Reynor now has a 2-base Zerg. Crater. Reynor was not expecting this, and there it is. Crater into the finals. A date with Bjorn. Reynor's first EPT Korea not getting the result that he wanted.